Brett Okamoto with ESPN alongside UFC president Dana White. I talk to him, I feel like, every weekend because there's a fight every weekend, although we did have a little bit of a break to start off the year, but now we're on full swing. UFC 247 from the Toyota Center in Houston, and let's talk about the main event, Jon Jones. I mean, we've been watching this guy do it for the last decade. What do you look forward to at this point when you're getting ready to watch a Jon Jones fight?
Yeah, I think what you're looking for is, can he keep doing it, you know? I truly believe the problem with this fight is people don't know how good Dominick Reyes really is. Yes, he's undefeated, but he's a name you haven't heard a lot about. You know, if he would have had a couple more high-profile fights before this Jon Jones fight, but this is how it ended up. And you know, if Jon Jones can get through him on Saturday, if Jon Jones beats this guy, it really is unbelievable, because most of the people that don't follow the sport as closely as the hardcores do, when you look at this fight, this is a very, very tough fight for Jon Jones. This guy's young, fast, heavy hands, head kicks, not to mention the fact that the confidence that this guy has going into this fight. You know, and Jon, like you said, Jon's been doing this for 10 years, been beating the absolute best. Our light heavyweight division was always the strongest division. Straight killers in this division, and Jon Jones has beat them all.
As a promoter, how do you feel about this chapter of Jon's career? Because he is in that sort of chapter where he took out all the big names, and now these other guys coming up, they're exciting. I want to see those fights, but as you mentioned, you know, some of the people that don't follow as hardcore are unaware of who these guys are. Do you want him at heavyweight? Do you want to find him these big fights, or do you want to see him fight the young talent coming up?
It is what it is. You know, at the end of the day, everybody, when I went up to Toronto, you know, all the people in Toronto were, oh, we get Gustafsson, you know, oh, the Gustafsson fight. And look at that fight. People didn't realize who Gustafsson was and what he was capable of doing. You know, there's nobody in the UFC that's a walkover. Everybody in this organization is the toughest in the world in their weight class. And this is a very, very tough, dangerous fight for Jon Jones. And if you've seen any of the stuff on his Instagram, he's taking this very serious, and he's in phenomenal shape for this fight.
Yeah. Where are you at on the Jon Jones heavyweight thing? And I know we got a big fight, obviously. We just talked about Dominick Reyes is very good. But if he wins, you know, that's becoming a post-fight question every time. Is Jon Jones going to heavyweight? Where are you on that one?
Yeah, listen, I would love to see it. I would love to see him go on and take on like Stipe or, you know, any of the top 5 guys in the heavyweight division, but that's up to him. You know, he can stay right at light heavyweight and keep, you know, knocking them down and creating this incredible legacy and you know, basically being the Tom Brady of the UFC and break records that will take forever or be next to impossible to break.
Well, another part of that equation is what's going on with the heavyweight division, and I know it's been a little unclear because of the injury with Stipe. Is there any update on that? Any time frame for him?
It's very clear. He's hurt, and when he's not, we'll make the fight. But you saw that Cormier basically came out and said Stipe has the ability to retire me. If he doesn't take this fight, then I'm going to retire. So, you know, we'll see how this thing plays out. I hope that's not the case.
Yeah, I mean, I know how you feel about Daniel Cormier. You like the guy. You like seeing him compete. He still competes at a very high level, obviously. Would you offer him some other fights, or you think that he's pretty committed to Stipe and then retirement?
Yeah, I have offered him other fights.
You have?
Yeah, I've offered him other fights. You know, I don't want him to retire. I don't think he should retire. But, and you know me, I'm usually the guy chasing guys to retire.
Yeah.
But the problem is when you start to think that way, like he feels like Stipe is the fight that he can get up for and that's what he wants, and he doesn't want anything else, I can't make him fight anybody else. He needs to do it. So I'd like to see that fight happen. Hopefully it does. We'll see what happens.
Is there sort of a clock on how long you're willing to wait for Stipe? I mean, it's a weird injury, of course, and you want to give him all the time in the world. It's, you know, the eye, you definitely don't want to rush that. But as a promotion, is there like a time frame where you have to kind of make a next move?
Well, you know what we do. You know, if you can't defend, I think it's a year. You know, then we would do another fight. But hopefully, you know, this thing heals up for Stipe. We would never push him into a fight or pressure him to do it. If he can, he can, and if he can't, you know, we'll figure something else out until he is ready.
There were some photos that came out of you and Conor and Lorenzo hanging out at the Palms shortly after his fight against Cowboy Cerrone. Can you just Tell us what that was like. What's it like when you three get together these days?
Yeah, it was fun. You know, we have this tradition that after a fight we get together and, you know, we do a shot of whiskey. And Lorenzo, after the fight, Lorenzo was in Panama, so he couldn't make it. So it was the Tuesday after the fight, we got together and we had a blast. Yeah, it was fun.
Are you talking any business there? Or what are you talking about? What are the conversations like?
No business. Just talking about the fight, family, you know, just all normal stuff that you go and hang out with your friends and talk about. It's the exact same stuff. Then it's crazy because when I saw Conor roll into the fight with all the security that he had, I'm like, this is crazy. Why does he need this much security? Then I went out with him in public. He needs that much security. Yeah. Lorenzo said in like 1977, him and his mom were at Caesar's Palace in Las Vegas, and Muhammad Ali walked through the casino. And it reminded him of Conor when Conor walked through the casino that night when we were there. It was literally crazy. Like, women were screaming his name and jumping up from their slot machines and running over and taking it. It was insanity. But that kid is a massive superstar, man. It's insane.
It doesn't happen when Dana White just walks through.
No, not even close. Not even close.
There was a good photo, though. This is not something that goes on when I hang out with my friends. It looked like he had a bag that had some cash in it, and you guys were laughing at it. What was the deal there? Yeah,
I don't remember what the joke was, but we were talking about gambling. And I had just gambled before we went in there, and I won $150,000. Okay. So that was my money. People were saying stuff like, you know, we were giving Conor his bonus. First of all, Lorenzo's not even involved in the UFC anymore. And yeah, it was my money.
So obviously, big thing going on in China. It's you know, medical crisis over there, and you have a Chinese champion as well as some other Chinese fighters who are scheduled to fight in the coming months. Have there been any complications, and what has the process been like trying to get them to these fights?
No, it's been good for us so far because as far as we know, nobody's sick and nobody's hurt over there. Number one, not any of our employees and staff or fighters, and number two, Weili Zhang is training in Thailand for this fight. She's over at Tiger Muay Thai working on her Muay Thai, so she's not even in China.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
Not to backtrack real quick, but I did want to ask you. You said you didn't talk about business with Conor, but everybody wants to know when he was going to fight again. He said he wants to stay active. You've kind of seemed like you've been hinting that you would like to see him fight the winner of Tony and Khabib. Where are we at on that? When are we going to see Conor fight next?
Yeah, we don't have anything yet. He literally just went home a few days ago. He stayed here with his family and then went to Disneyland and then went home. So we haven't talked about it at all.
You are still pretty set on him fighting the winner of Khabib and Tony, though?
He doesn't think Khabib and Tony is going to happen, so he wants to slide into that slot.
Yeah. Well,
that's where we're at right now.
Mm-hmm. Well, I hope it happens. If it does happen and he doesn't fight the winner of that one, a lot of people are interested in this Jorge Masvidal fight. Is that a hard no for you, though? You would like to see Masvidal fight it?
Masvidal fights Usman for the title at 170. That's a no-brainer.
In your co-main event, Valentina Shevchenko facing Katlyn Chookagian, another one, I think, an opponent that maybe not the hardcores know about. Why does Katlyn Chookagian have a chance in this fight? Yeah,
listen, she's dangerous. Everybody has a chance in this sport. You know, there's so many different ways to win and so many different ways to lose. Anybody can win at any given moment, and it's just when you get to think that somebody can't lose that they do lose. But she, you know, she's fought her way to the top. She's in line for this title. She deserves this title shot, you know, and I know she's been waiting for it, and you know, felt she deserved it earlier. But here we are, and we'll find out on Saturday night.
Well, sort of a fun card in that way that you may have the two most dominant champions in the UFC competing on the same night.
Right. But fighting dangerous opponents. Right.
Yep. Looking forward to those two fights and everything else at UFC 247 on Saturday in Houston. Thanks, Dan.
Thank you.
Thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube. For more sports and analysis, download the ESPN app. And for live streaming and special content, subscribe to ESPN+.